Is it live? I can never tell when it's live or not.
It says live on the thing.
Does it say live? Let me see. Here. All right. Yeah, I guess we're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jim Haydon over here at Signature Premier. I want to give you our little 10-minute market blast. I haven't been on in a while. It's my banker, or one of my bankers, Dave Trabosh. He's usually typically on.
Yes.
Talks about rates, what's going on. I wanted to run down and just talk about like total listings in each town is so low. So Smithtown total listings 109. This is pulled yesterday. Okay, so 109 listings. The supply and demand change from last year, the demand has gone up 8.4% and the supply has gone down 5 3/4. So you can imagine that's what's driving home values up. And then the absorption time, that's the time if it took for every single house on the market right now in Smithtown to disappear and get sold, that would be 2.7 months. So we only have 2 months of inventory. Still a very, very strong seller's market. And we can use the average selling price is $486,670. If we go over into Hauppauge, we only have 34 total listings in Hauppauge. So buyers, if I were you, I would think about trying to find something in Hauppauge with maybe Smithtown School District, or just something in Hauppauge with Hauppauge schools, or vice versa. Does that make any sense?
Yep. Yes.
So the average selling price over there is $408. Okay, the supply change has dropped by 10%. Okay, from last year, and then the demand change has gone up 5.77%. 2.4 months worth of inventory there. Wisconsin changes a little bit. Wisconsin's average selling price, surprisingly, is higher than most at $502. So if you sellers that live in Wisconsin, I would really consider, if you're thinking about selling, I would really consider getting your house on the market soon, because we have an overflow of buyers, and the average selling price in Wisconsin is $502. I mean, that's great. There's only 42 total listings on the market right now in Wisconsin also. I put the numbers up here, but my board is I'm not the best. I need a artist. It's good though.
I like it.
Current supply in Wisconsin 3.2 months. St. James changes. Their current months of supply is 5 months. So St. James seems to be a little bit slower market, but they only have total listings 55. The supply change, actually there's been more listings. The supply change has gone up 11%, while the demand change hasn't changed at all. So that's what's giving it a longer time on market. Okay, or not time on market, but a longer absorption rate. Okay, and then we go into Kings Park. There's only 42 listings on the market right now in Kings Park. It may have changed from yesterday, but I pulled these stats yesterday. Average selling price $431. Okay, and then your supply change has gone up 22%, and your demand change has gone up also. And then we have 3 months of supply there. Comac's the big one here. There is not even 2 months worth of inventory on the market in Comac.
That's crazy.
Okay, there's 74. I think today I looked, there was 80 total listings on the market in Comac, and that's like, I don't even know. That's less than half of what was on the market last year. Average selling price over in Comac $520. Okay, and your demand change has gone up 9%. So Comac sellers, if you're thinking about putting your house on the market, that's another market. That market, and what were we saying? Wisconsin, two you're getting really good average selling prices in those two markets. Where was Smithtown? Did I say Smithtown?
You said Smithtown in the beginning.
Smithtown in the beginning.
And you also looked at a little bit of hot bog too.
Yeah, a little bit of hot box too.
Not a lot of inventory there.
So not a lot of inventory still. Tons of buyers still out fighting for the good inventory. There are some sellers that are getting a little bit, overzealous with their prices, and we have seen some homes expire from the market because the seller is just holding on to that price instead of taking advantage of what he can get right now and moving on to the next spot. A lot of this scares some of the sellers because they say, well, if there's no inventory, where am I going to move? Where am I going to move? The more sellers that go on the market, then there's going to be more available inventory for you to look at. That's one way of thinking about it.
True.
I don't know
Right.
how to.
Right. It's true.
If you put your house on the market, it's kind of like a chain reaction. If you put your house on the market, then your neighbor's going to, and all of a sudden other people are going to start seeing more and more homes on the market, and they're going to want to list also.
It's almost like with the buyers, same type of thing. The buyers are renting, they're all renting together as friends, and they've, get scared of dealing with, say, the mortgage process because they hear all these stories, and then obviously their friend buys a house and says, wow, that wasn't that bad. Then all of a sudden their friends buy a house, and then it just trickles down. So that's just like with listings, it's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
As soon as everybody gets over the hurdle of saying, hey, listen, where am I going next? You know what? You'll figure it out. That's the whole thing. Like I said, you got to be in the market to know what it is.
You have to be in the market. I've seen some houses go on and then come back off, and then I'm going to try again next year. And if interest rates keep on rising, then that price that you thought you were going to get next year is not going to be there. Let's see, Comac 520 average selling price. So if interest rates hit 5% by the end of the summer, that average sales price has got to come down because people buy off of value, not off of price or interest. They buy off of value, and if the value stays the same for the house, but the interest rate goes up, then what does that do to the price of the home?
Correct.
It's got to come down.
And speaking about that, with interest rates right now,
interest rates are like what? They're
all
over the place.
They're kind of bouncing all over the place. They've almost touched 5. Now they've come down to like 4 3/4 today on a 30-year fixed mortgage. Obviously, 15 and 20-year mortgages are a little bit less, but your payment's going to be a little bit more. So right now it's really challenging to tell you where the market's going. We all know we got spoiled there for years with the rates being in the 3s. Now we're almost touching 5. So the whole thing, what I can reemphasize, like I was telling Jim earlier today, is any buyers that are out there who got pre-approved from a different lender, you know what, you might want to reach out to your lender just to update your pre-approval, run some numbers, make sure you're in that right price range so that you're looking in the right price point, because right now, as Jim just said with his numbers, it's a seller's market right now. There's not a lot of inventory, so things are going asking price, if not over asking price, and obviously that can affect your numbers as far as qualifying. And obviously you want to make sure, living on Long Island, it's not cheap. I've been here my whole life, and you know what? It's about the taxes, and obviously it's the payments. Everybody has different debts like car loans, student loans, credit cards. You obviously want to make sure that you'll be able to live, not just for your house. So one thing I do emphasize is reaching out to your lender. If you want to give me a call to get a second opinion,
what's your cell?
It's 516-848-7034. I'm available 7 days a week.
There you go.
What it is basically we're a contour mortgage. We're a direct lender. We have a lot more different products than what you find with the normal banks that are out there. We are a bank. We lend our own money. It's just we have a little bit more diversified products, which could probably get you into a house. Just to use an example.
Can you loan me some money?
Of course. Just to give you an example, I had a client who was pre-approved from a big bank. They didn't think they could qualify. When they called me up, I could get them an extra $50,000 or $75,000 in their purchase price, because it's hard to find in certain ranges. She was pre-approved for a house for $350,000. Obviously, she wanted to buy a house in the $400,000 range. We got her house for $425,000. Just because we're a little bit more flexible as far as program-wise, ratio-wise, but it all comes down to comfort level. I mean, it all comes down to the numbers. I'm here to work with you. to get things done. I'm a face-to-face guy. If you want to sit down and meet face-to-face, I can meet you in Jim's office.
Yeah.
Like I said, so we can go over it, so make sure that you're in that right price point, because right now it's a very, very challenging market. I have a lot of buyers who are getting frustrated, but they know that the best thing is to buy something and not rent. I mean, because right now renting is just, it's like throwing your money out.
You know, the other thing you're going to have to keep in mind, especially for the sellers, is interest rates. Typically, the banks know, let's start jacking them up toward the middle of summer, and that's what usually evens out the playing field a little bit. We don't know how much more inventory is going to come on the market, but if the interest rates keep going up, it's going to slowly and steadily turn into a buyer's market, and you know, it all has to even out at the end of the day.
The whole thing is, it's like a cycle. You know what? I've been doing this for 24 years. It goes up and down. Seller's market, buyer's market. You can't predict what the future is going to outlay. All I can do is tell you what the rates are now. What all the research I've done is that the rates are definitely going up because of consumer confidence, unemployment rates being at an all-time low. So the best thing is obviously, you know, take advantage. Like I said, you know, buy something sooner than later. Because, like I said, you know, I don't want to have this conversation in 6 months or a year and say we're at 5.5%. Then obviously your numbers are going to be a lot worse.
Yeah, you know, the other thing too is there are buyers running around with pre-approvals that they got back in February. You got to update those pre-approvals because the numbers have changed now. So you have to update those pre-approvals. You know, I know people think that every time they update the pre-approval, it's going to ding their credit and affect their affordability. That's a myth?
So
right?
What happens if I run your credit report? I run it the first time with all three bureaus. It's good for 120 months. Okay, it's 4 months. Okay, at that time, at the end of 4 months, obviously we can update the credit report, but it's only one inquiry on your credit report. It's just doing the pre-approvals the right way to make sure that obviously if you find something that you're in the right price point, you do qualify. I mean, obviously, I want to put you in the best program. That's why I have to see the income, I have to see the assets, I have to see the credit to make sure that we put you definitely in that right price point. I know I keep emphasizing that because so many people go and want to see the house for $600,000 when they only qualify for a house for, say, $500,000. You know, and the whole thing is that they got their mindset on that $600,000 house. But you know what? Before you get to the point of falling in love with the house, let's take the first step as far as sitting down so that you know you're definitely in that right price range.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is a matter of him adjusting some numbers to make sure that what you're looking at is going to be what you're able to buy. It's not another ding in the credit. It's not anything like that. It's him literally taking your old credit inquiry and adjusting the new numbers to it.
Correct. And I educate you through the process of what not to do with your credit during the process. So, you know, don't go out and buy another car and you know, open up credit cards, things like that. Just to educate
Costco
you.
Or Macy's and buy the living room set.
Yes, that's the whole thing. Like I said, either you love the couch.
The day before the closing.
Yeah, either you love the couch or you love the house. The whole thing is that right now we have to obviously work together to get it done. And like I said, I'm available 7 days a week. If you find something on a weekend, you need to run numbers, I'm a numbers person. I'll run numbers with you just to make sure we're in that price range and that comfort as far as your payment before I issue that pre-approval. And I do the pre-approval based on that particular house. It's more personalized to the seller than just giving you a general pre-approval that you can go anywhere with. It's more personalized to your offer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sellers, you know, you heard the couple of markets, actually every single town that we're talking about. You know, you want to reach out to me personally and just get a home value and see where you're at and see if it's a good decision to put your home on the market or not. Give me a call. It doesn't cost you anything. It's certainly no obligation. We could sit down. It's a 15-minute walkthrough of your home, look at it, and then see what's going on in the market. Feel free to give me a call. My number is 631-759-6256, or you can message me right here on my Facebook page, and also get a hold of Dave at the same time.
Perfect. Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Your time.
No
Have
problem.
a great day, everybody. Okay? Enjoy.
All right.
Have a great
Thanks,
weekend.
Dave.
Thank you.
So you heard it from the banker. You heard about the stats. There's the total number of homes in each town. Very low. One thing I did also want to mention that's not related to real estate, but it is Signature is having a shred-a-thon this weekend. I emailed a bunch of people about it. If you're moving, doesn't matter if you're listed with us or not, or you're going to put your house on the market, bring all your old checkbooks, pay stubs, tax records, whatever you want down here Sunday between 10 and 12 in the back parking lot. Okay, not the front of the building. The back parking lot, there's going to be a shredder there. There's going to be a bunch of agents here to greet you, and refreshments, the whole 9 yards. We do it every year. This is our 5th year in a row, and it's a good time. You get rid of all the old junk out of your house, all the old papers. Maybe you're cleaning out your parents' house. Get that going. All right? You guys have a great weekend. I look forward to hearing from some of you, and hope you see you at the Shredathon. All right? Bye.